Every story holds a spark of the human spirit. It's time to really let that light shine. This is Conjuring the Human Spirit, hosted by Shawn Meeks, a space for honest conversations, deep connection, and the shared journey of being fully alive. This season, Shawn also welcomes guests who open up about their own transformations and experiences, reminding us all what it means to heal, grow, and thrive, one story at a time. You're invited. Let's begin.
This human spirit of ours was built to carry and support the weight of a village. But recently, we've been handed the weight of a planet. The weight of a planet. Right now, there is an algorithm designed to exploit our empathy, telling us that if we're not outraged about everything, we don't care about anything. It's exhausting, it's loud, and it's fragmenting our spirits. Today, I'm going to give you a word you might not have heard in a long time. Permission. Permission to turn it off without being judged and without losing your soul. I'm Shawn Meeks, and today on Conjuring the Human Spirit, we're talking about the fragility of the human spirit of you in a digital age. We're going to look at why tuning out isn't the same as giving up, and how reclaiming your local life with your partner, your animals, your friends, your family, and your lonely community is actually the most spiritual act you can perform right now. Please share one intentional breath with me, in and out. Let's begin. I don't know what you think, but it seems like we have traded our peace for a front row seat to every tragedy on earth. And we're wondering why we're too tired to love the people in our own living rooms. Here's a bit of truth, and I know you can feel it, and so can I, so let me shout it from the rooftops. Our biology has not caught up with the 24-hour news cycle. Like it or not, we are simply mammals, like dolphins, elephants, or even your furry friends at home. Take a sincere moment with me just to consider. You, my friend, are a filthy animal. Sure, we are the most advanced species on Earth, no question about it. But we have our vulnerabilities, and the truth is, our biology is being used against us on purpose and for profit. If you haven't yet watched the documentary The Social Dilemma on Netflix, please do. It's not an opinion piece, y'all. It's an expert after expert testimony openly telling us how the tech industry is intentionally exploiting the human spirit of us for profit. The spirit of us, our attention, that has become the greatest commodity on earth. If you're paying attention, then you know that you're intentionally being dragged around by your algorithm. That algorithm is trained to raise our cortisol levels, big scientific word, cortisol. They know it. What is cortisol? It's known as the stress hormone, and it's affected by notifications dinging, the blue light emitted from our devices, the salacious headlines, and the endless scroll of doom. Studies show that when cortisol levels are raised, we stay on platforms longer. We buy more. We stay in a constant state of fight and flight. So yes, of course, our smartphones ding, emit blue light, and if you want to know who you really are right now, simply look at the content your algorithm is feeding you. No matter who you are or what side you're on, I can assure you this, that when you open your phone, you are looking at something that says us versus them. That's what the content is, insisting we pick a side. And because we are also tribal as humans, we must be loyal to our tribe or be labeled a traitor, a Nazi, or a woke liberal. Here's the worst part. These large tech companies not only know this, but pay millions of dollars to scientific labs that fine-tune sounds and content designed to exploit your cortisol levels, exploit us, period. They make the notifications on your phone just the right pitch, the right length, and emit the perfect amount of light and content to manipulate you and your biology so that you stay engaged. Okay, so now you know. And perhaps you already did know. But I'll say to you, as a therapist once said to me, now that you know why you're stressed, why you're sad, why you're lonely, what are you personally doing about it? Over 20 years ago, I put down alcohol. I had to do it. It was making my life unmanageable. When I made that decision, I realized that alcohol was everywhere. In every social setting, it was in the fabric of who we were as humans. At every table, how could I ever live life without it? And yet I must, and I did. I've been getting the same cry in my spirit about managing time on my device, so I intentionally leave it at home in a drawer to be present with the moment, with my animals, with the land, and with my family and friends. I'm not perfect, and I pick it up all the time, and it frustrates the hell out of me. But I will tell you, I'm not in tune with the latest jaw-dropping headline, but present with my community and my husband and my animals as best I can. We recently lost one of our own in our community, and another member was in mourning over the sudden loss of his sister, 59 years old, his best friend. And last week, members of my community were coming to me speaking of loneliness. Goodness, y'all. Life is simply full with what's happening in our own family and community. With all that on my plate, a night out for dinner with friends was needed. We hadn't seen one another in a long time for the reasons I just mentioned. I intentionally left my phone at home. Here's the story. We were in a small but busy restaurant. We ordered at the counter and got seated. Then, dun, 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 the phones around me immediately came out. Remember, mine's at home in the drawer. I will admit that I'm already frustrated in my everyday life about my own addiction to my device, as I just said. I'm seemingly forever competing for my husband's attention with his device. Phones are ever present, and even when they're not on, they're present. Y'all know that, and listening. I do my best to offer grace to myself and acknowledge that others are powerless, and these things have tremendous power over all of us. But that night, blue light flooded the faces of the men sitting across from me, and then to my left, and this went on through most of dinner until someone said, I don't mean to be a downer, but did you hear another person was shot in Minneapolis today? Oh, God. Immediate conversation ensued with conflicting details, and because I intentionally do not consume outrageous headlines of the day, my mind began racing, trying to process the outrage. I was immediately, however, struck by the contradictions of information I was hearing at the table, just with my own group of friends. He had a gun, he didn't have a gun, it was ICE, it was a federal officer, it was, and. They were just conflicting information. And the lack of certainty regarding the details of the event being discussed was shocking to me. I sat quietly wondering if each person's algorithm led them to their own set of facts. It is fair to say that I was already annoyed and not enjoying dinner. The phones, the confusion, and now a dramatic story was being shared about a personal friend of someone at the table who was across the country that had been arrested by ICE for blowing a whistle, and they were now in need of a federal attorney. Overwhelmed and irritated by it all, I flatly and abruptly said, I think if you're in this country illegally, you should be held accountable. Period. Silence fell over the table. There was absolutely no question my comment was shockingly insensitive and ill-timed. I could see on the faces of everyone, oh God, time to backpedal. How can I fix this? I was immediately called out by the group as being aggressive and insensitive, which made me more defensive and aggressive. The evening ended in anger. Men pushed their chairs from the table. I clearly had crossed an uncrossable line, and no matter what I said, it made things worse. I'll admit leaving was probably the best thing to do. But before they left, I said, wait, what about our friendship? What about our community? One screamed back over his shoulder, I don't know about our friendship. I said loudly to all of them as they were racing toward the door in this crowded restaurant, now having made a scene, I'm so sorry for my part in all of this. That was met with no reply. No one turned around. My gentle, sweet husband and I were left alone at the table. I got into the car and tried to make sense of what was happening. My husband tried to console me, but said, Shawn. I said, I know, I made a mistake. That's why I apologized. I'm sorry. I got home and back to my phone and immediately messaged the group, and apologized for making such a mess of the evening. No one ever responded to my apology in person at the restaurant or that night by text. When I woke up the next morning, I went on the apology tour. Of the 3, 2 accepted my apology. The other either still isn't ready or maybe never will be ready to speak to me again. At that table, I was labeled insensitive, uncaring, and intentionally disconnected from the troubles of the world. And the next day, I got feedback from friends that though I had decided to leave my device at home and not tune into the troubles of the world, that this is the reality of how people interacted today, and I need to understand that. I was majorly triggered that night. Being labeled as insensitive and uncaring made me lash out, and I'm sincerely sorry about that. I do my best to be the hugs and love y'all guy all the time. But, alas, I can assure you, and if you know me, you'll know I'm human and so are you. And yet, as I continue to step into this place of service here at the farm, offering workshops to you, working with you one-on-one, I do the best I can to focus on the things I can control so that I can remain grounded in my purpose. I will also continue to try not to be hijacked by a sense of duty with things I can't control. I'm curious, how does this story sit with you? Are you experiencing the same things out there? Are you mad at me? Are you mad at me who's listening? Do you understand what I'm saying? Are your conversations about national events at the table? Are they about politics? The latest outrage of the day? When I circumnavigated the planet 10 years ago, visiting 42 countries, traveling over 42,000 nautical miles over 6 months, I came home knowing that my place, my responsibilities, my duty is to act locally in my community. The world is a big place, y'all, with immeasurable atrocities. I nor you are biologically designed to emotionally hold all that is happening in the world. I'm reminded of my grandma, Norma. God rest her soul. Little old Erie, Pennsylvania. She spent much of her free time bringing family and friends together, present for her grandchildren, present and enjoying monthly club with her group of friends playing cards and having a Manhattan, taking a casserole to the family struggling, visiting the sick in the hospital. She wasn't a saint. She was a wife, mother, grandmother, friend, and responsible member of her community. There were no cell phones, no Facebook. She wasn't consumed by world events. She was just a woman loving her family, friends, and community in need that created a full life for Grandma. A full life, and the ripples of her love live in me and those she touched Still today, I'm certain of it. So for what it's worth, I give you permission today to hit the off switch, to put down your device, to be present with your own thoughts, and to begin to recalibrate the very sensitive human spirit of you. I don't know how that resonated with you today. I'm glad to have the privilege to share this with you. And if it resonated and you want to challenge yourself, I've got a micro challenge, and we're going to call it Pick a Challenge this week. Maybe you want to do all of these things, but maybe try a digital fast. How many hours can you go? How many minutes can you go? Turn it off. You have my permission. Maybe the second one is perform one local act of presence. Cook a meal for a neighbor. Say a kind word to a stranger. And finally, set a timer. Maybe spend one uninterrupted and intentional hour with your animals, with your kids, with your husband, with your wife. I wonder how much more spirit we can all have when we aren't carrying the globe on our shoulders. I'll leave you with this very powerful ancient Hawaiian practice for reconciliation, forgiveness, and healing. It's called Hooponopono. And it goes like this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Hey y'all, it's Shawn coming to you from the ceremonial tent inside the newly renovated barn with all kinds of exciting things happening here. This dusty barn has been converted into a magical retreat place for you to unplug and connect. Our next workshop coming up is the magic of listening. We're going to do that 4 times a year now that we have a climate-controlled environment to offer you. And we'll do it on the solstice or the equinoxes, and that is... the next one is March 20th, 21st, and 22nd. You arrive on Friday in the afternoon. My husband cooks you an awesome meal, and then we dive in that evening, all day Saturday, half the day Sunday. And if you have the experience that most say they have here, you walk out of here changed, and you're invited. There's only 12 of you that come from across the country here to the farm, and it's an intimate setting. I think you would love it. If you're looking at how to grow, what do you want to spring forth in your life in this new season coming, then join us here at the farm, March 20th, 21st, 22nd. Check out all the details on the website, McGuireLife.com. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Reach out, send me a message. Let's talk about it. Sending you big hugs and love from me, Jeff, Rumi Plato, here at the farm.
You've been listening to Conjuring the Human Spirit with Shawn McGuire Meeks. To connect with Shawn, learn more about working one-on-one, or to grab your spot for an upcoming workshop, visit McGuireLife.com or tap the link in this episode's description. Thank you for joining us, and remember, you're not alone.